Okay, we're going to go into Blender. You're going to have your, let's see, he already has FBX open. We're going to give you a file called Huggy Simp, and all it is a simplified rig of Huggy, so there's not as much junk in there. The only problem with doing it this way is you got to kind of do a couple steps, but actually I'm going to get rid of this metal rig. This was, here we go, if we show that, it's Glamrock Freddy, so we want Glamrock Chica. So let's get rid of him, and I'll resave it as this, because you don't need Glamrock Freddy in there. That'll just make it bigger. And we're going to File, Import your FBX of Chica. And they're usually a different scale. As you can see, this one is teeny tiny, weeny, weeny, whiny. So as soon as you import it, just hit the S button and start dragging that on up, and away. Alright, it's really got to get bigger, okay? And you're going to try to get it as close as you can. And you're going to rotate it 90 degrees because they usually are 90 degrees off. And we're pretty close. Looks like we could go back a little bit. So Blender is always my biggest issue because every model you get could have different issues. So hopefully this one won't have too many weird issues. We get it close enough. It's pretty close. Doesn't look too bad, really. This one shouldn't be too hard, actually. Let's just see. Okay. And looks like it lines up pretty good. Is it shaded? Let me see. Hopefully it's shaded already. If not, you're going to need to get the textures for, yeah, I guess I'm going to need her textures. They should be what? 6 textures, materials. Okay, we're back in business. Now that we've got her materials right, we're going to rename this material to pasted _saliva_mat. Don't ask why. If you don't do it this way, you got to do all kinds of weird things with all the materials that Huggy has, and he has 8 materials. So you'd have to make fake materials. But if you do it this way, you only have to make 1 material. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So once we have her there and we lock her transforms in, Control A, we're going to, actually there's a couple ways to do this, but the way I was taught that works pretty good is to duplicate one of them, and oops, I always do that. Duplicate it, but don't move it. Shift D, enter, and then with this duplicated one, you're going to go to Edit, Mesh, Merge by Distance, and you actually probably have to do that. You have to do that to both of them because if there's any weird things, then rigging won't work. So we should do that to this other one as well. So again, Mesh, Merge by Distance, and I didn't have that one selected because I got to go into Object Mode, select that one, and Edit Mode, Mesh, Merge by Distance, and you see I got rid of 6,000-ish. Alright, so this one, back to this one. How do I do it? Tab, 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 yeah, tab and click, tab, click. Alright, so we merged by distance, but actually this one we're going to merge by distance and we're going to change it to be super low poly. So when you do merge by distance on the copied one, you're going to change this to something like 0.04-ish, and it's going to look kind of very low mesh, but that's important. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back to object mode, and with that one selected and control select that one, the Huggy rig, control P it, and this one is going to be with automatic weights. And then the other one, the original one with the high poly, you're going to do the exact same thing, control P, but that one is going to be with empty groups. Now the fun begins, and you can try to do it without doing that and just do automatic weights, but this just seems to work better for anything that's already got good weight painting. So then you're going to select the low poly one and control select the high poly one, and then go into your weight paint and go to weights, go to transfer weights. You're going to change vertex mapping to nearest face interpolated, I think. Yeah, nearest face interpolated, not nearest edge interpolated. Nearest face interpolated, and then the source layer by name. Wait for that to do its job. Da 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 da. Now, technically, let's go back out to layout mode so I can see things a little bit better. So now we have all these guys all rigged to the same thing. We can get rid of the duplicate completely because we're not going to need that one anymore. And if we were to go to pose this and pick a bone, any bone, when we pose, Chica and Huggy should go. All right, so far so good. Where I usually have problems with the rigging is in the face, like if maybe her head didn't get all the eyelashes and stuff, so we're gonna find out. Oh good, it's good. See, and if you do automatic weight without doing that weird transfer weight thing, you're gonna have all kinds of problems with little things not getting done right. So that really saves a lot of work. So, and I'm gonna make this tutorial to save you as much work as possible. So here we go with the next step, which will be, you could get rid of the Huggy completely, but what we want to do next is we want to actually re-rig this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just rename this one Armature 1, because when I bring in the FBX of Huggy with the correct rig, which, let me see, is under models, models, and I've got a lot of stuff in here, so try to ignore it. We're going to bring in Huggy. Takes a second or two. Okay, now this is the actual rig of Huggy that's not simplified, but it has all kinds of stuff that would have messed you all up. So now what you're going to do is take your glam rock and you're going to do the with empty group parenting. And then you can totally get rid of this one that you just had. Get rid of that. And all you're going to be left with is your glam rock Chica. And there you go. Now we're going to File, Export, FBX, go into your whatever directory makes this easy for you, and you're going to name this. Let me go see what I'm going to name this. If I can find it, it's going to be that Huggy Rig. So you're just going to want to call it Huggy Rig. And here we go, Huggy Rig FBX. A couple important steps here. You're going to go over to here to Armature and unselect Add Leaf Bones. So now you have a Huggy Rig FBX that's going to go into here, and you're just going to export it. All right, all's good. Now we go into Unreal Engine. So Blender work for this, and this is the AI Huggy that comes out, is done. We will have to do it for the event crawl cycle one, which we could do right now, but I'm going to just make sure, I always make sure that the AI one looks good because all the other ones are going to come off of that one. All right, so let's set up Unreal Engine, and I'm going to create, I don't care, a dummy project for you so that it will have all the directory structure, which is a pain in the butt to create, because for this Huggy, it's going to be under characters, Huggy, Scary, Huggy AI, Huggy Reveal, Huggy Final, Huggy Rig, and this is where this is going to go. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over to your whatever model you're using that you're trying to get in. So I try to do this so I can find it quickly by putting it under Chica, and we're going to, I'm going to rename the Atlas to, well, you don't have to rename the Atlas, never mind, but you're going to want to bring in Huggy Rig and bring this in. And some important settings on this are going to be that the scale is 0.01, and it's going to create its own skeleton. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. When this all happens, which hopefully your computer's faster than mine, right. Finally done. So now we have, this is all you need right here, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to test this. The way we're going to test this part of this is we're going to package this project as a 64-bit. Find a nice place to put it, and I'm just going to leave it into the same directory as the project. And this part takes quite a while for me. Now this should be a fairly clean project, so it shouldn't be as time consuming, but once you start adding a lot of other things into here, it will get slower and slower. Okay, now for the fun part. After it's built, you're going to make sure that this text file has the proper directories. So the only things you're going to be changing are where these are pointing. So I just saved that into, I don't even know, Poppy Squid, I guess. So let me go remember that. And then you're going to change all these Poppy 2s to Poppy Squid, and or wherever that you just built it. Then you're going to go over here to your PowerShell and change your directory into the UE426 engine binaries Win64. And then you're going to create a really ugly command. So I've got a lot of these things here, and this is going to be the command. So the main thing that you want to do is tell it what you want to call this pack file. So the mod pack file is going to be called Windows No Editor _ so this is important up to there, but then anything after there is what you want to call your mod, and it really doesn't matter. So if we want to call this Chica, we call it Chica, and then you just execute that. Now I got to go change these still. I think it was Poppy Squid. Alright, so 4 files were added. That sounds about right. And we're going to test it. Oh no, we have Chica, but I didn't do something right on the texture. Okay, let me go make sure that I copied over the right thing. Now, if your texture didn't work, go under the project settings and make sure that this is unchecked. Okay, share material shader code is under the packaging settings, and if it's checked, it's not going to work this way. So just make sure of that. Otherwise, I renamed it Mail Base just to see what was wrong, but nothing was wrong. It was just that, because this project that I should, if I give it to you, it should remember that setting. I don't know if it will or not. And that's why you test it. So the reason why was I usually rename this to Mail Huggy Base Color. Now you can, or you can leave it the same name, but if you're going to leave it the same name, then you have to change that in the text file right here. So there you go. That would make it to work. Let's move on to the next one in Blender. So the next one in Blender, what we're going to do is we're going to leave this here, and we're going to import an FBX, and I'll give you this FBX as well. This is my latest one, so I'll do this one. So Huggy Cross Cycle Anim. So when you bring in Huggy Cross Cycle Anim, it's going to be 90 degrees offset. Well, that's fine and all, but of course you should change it so it just calls it armature. So the one we're going to do now is take this and rotate it 90 degrees. That's all you really got to do. I'm sorry, negative. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, stop that. All right, Control Z. So Control Z. All right, grab that one there and say -90. There you go, -90. And then with that one, you're going to empty group it. Oops, I guess my Control A didn't work. Sorry about that. Make sure Control A works this time, hopefully. Control P with empty groups. Why is my Control A not working? Wait a minute. Selected on something wrong. This and this. Object mode. Control A. All transforms. Did I not say that? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's because it's got 2 modifiers. That shouldn't have happened, but anyway. Delete that one. I guess that's a possibility. I don't know. Sometimes Blender just baffles my brain. Empty groups. Okay, whoops. Control A. That's not what I wanted to do. Now, let's try that again. Control P with empty groups. That looked better. And we can delete that one and delete the Grinch, whatever it's going to be called. I'll have to give you one that doesn't confuse you. And that one doesn't really matter, but get rid of it. And there you go. Now, file, export this one as Huggy hand cross cycle thing. So I go back and make sure it's good and export. All right, that one's done. Now I'm going to give a script, and you're just going to want to copy that script into your model directory. Right click it and say run with PowerShell. It's going to create a bunch of new FBXs, which are just copies of some of the other ones, but it gives the right names that you're going to need for the next step, which is to drag them in. So now let's go back and say where they go get dragged in. Go back to Huggy Scary. Okay. Let me make sure that that's where we want to be. So we're going to put Scary. We need Huggy Hand first. So Huggy Hand is in Huggy Scary, yes. So we're going to bring in Huggy Hand first. So Chica, we're going to look for a Huggy Hand right here and drag that into, I don't want it into that subdirectory. I hope it didn't do that. Okay, we probably could have told it not to bring in the materials because we really don't want these two materials. So you want to delete those because you want to point to the material that you made in that other one. So when you say material, pasted saliva mat, that's the one you want, because otherwise you're pointing to ones that we're not exporting into the project, because you only really want to have to export it once. Now you're going to go into anims and you're going to pull in the Huggy Cross Cycle anim. Now here's the important step on here where it's a skeleton. You're going to say Huggy Hand. Okay, and then let's say don't create new materials and import it. Bada bing, bada bing, bada bing, bada bing. Sorry, I have to entertain myself because I'm always bored of waiting for these things to occur. Okay, start again. Blueprints, bridge break. I'm just trying to keep this thing clean. Huggy Death. And you're going to drag in your bridge break player and that. Two of them, bing. You're going to come in here. And okay, and as you can see, these all came in. You don't really need to keep the atlas here because it's pointing to the materials over on the other directory, the only one that we're exporting. So that's all good. Now there's one more. Go back to blueprints, go to quest system, storage room, Huggy animation, and this one is the Huggy one that's up in the vent that I don't always replace, but it's the Huggy hiding idle, and drag that one into there, and that will get the one that's when you put the fuses in the panel and you pull the, well, when you come back from pulling the door. So that's the only one. Okay, and then we'll go back to Blender and we'll do the one where it's standing in the hub room, and then we should be done. Hub room one, I kind of cheat and just pose it and don't bother trying to put it into the rig, but that can be a little bit of a problem because I don't know exactly where the key is on the hand, and I should get that pose so that I know where exactly to pose it, but we'll do that next. So if you just start from this one here and pose, you're going to pose that arm so that it's kind of going up. And let's get the, I hate how that looks here, so go to in front so you can see the bones and grab, is it that one? Maybe it was that one. No, I don't think it was that one. A little further down maybe. It doesn't look too bad, I guess. And it's a little too far back. I think that's good. And I hate seeing those, but there we go. And let's make them sticks, because I don't know. Bing. Let's put this down by the side. And you can pose her however you want for the hub, which is kind of neat, because if you use the rig and then it'll get posed exactly as Huggy would in the pose. And maybe that's okay, because I think it does sway a little bit with the animation, but that's not really important, I don't think. So once you lock those in, and you're going to use Huggy Mail Rig. So I'm going to import an FBX called Huggy Mail Rig, and we will just do the same thing where name that one Armature. And once Glamrock here is posed, I think that's right. If you go ahead and empty group it and then export that one without the, of course I messed that up, okay. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Export that one as Huggy Mail Rig, and then we'll bring that one in and I'll show you that in a sec. Okay, now that finally locked the pose, export as Huggy Mail Rig FBX, and there you go. Then drag that one. Let me show you where to drag it. Go back into here. I guess I never finished doing that one. Huggy hiding. Okay, so we're going to drag in Huggy Mail Rig into Huggy normal characters, okay? So drag that one in. And that one, also don't do anything except import it. And then build it and go back to your PowerShell and rerun your pack command and then test. You're going to be doing that probably a lot until you get comfortable with it. Believe me, I didn't have anybody to give me such a tutorial, so this should definitely help you in speeding up the process with a lot of less gotchas. So I hope this helps, and anything that I can do to assist, let me know.